Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. My name is Mark. This is Day Cab Company. This little project we're working on, we got a truck we pulled the air ride off of, and we pulled the sleeper off of it. We're building a dump truck, and so I looked all over the internet and didn't see any videos on retrofitting air ride over-the-road trucks to Chalmers Suspension. So I thought I'd maybe do one real quick. I've done this, I think, 3 times over 20 years. It works really good. So I'm going to tell you how I did it and why I did it, and then kind of give you guys some information. So this is a Peterbilt. So I bought this truck at the auction, bought it at Ritchie Brothers, and of course it didn't run. but I did know it this time. This time I knew that it didn't. So it's a 2014 Peterbilt 579, and it's got a super awesome Cummins motor that's seized up in it. So I'm going to deal with that later. I'm really not going to talk about what I'm doing on that. We pulled the sleeper off of it, put one of our kits on it real quick. And I'm building, so when you're building dump trucks, there's a lot. So I know a lot of you guys in different areas build different kinds of dump trucks. I generally build what I call a contractor's truck. So I want to run 40,000 pound rear ends, and I run a pretty light frame, but I also run like a 15 and a half dump box on it with low sides, so I can load it with a backhoe. So I'm not really contract hauling. Everybody's got a different spec, and a lot of you guys run 46s and 18 speeds. This got a 450 horsepower motor, or it's got a 13-speed automatic, which I think is going to work good for what we're doing. And then I'm going to put a 15-foot box on it, so we did shorten it up a little bit. Let's talk about the front. So I run the factory 12,000 pound axle, pretty light duty axle. However, this truck will be around a 52,000 pound GVW when it's done, and it's there now. I don't want a 20. What I want is a heavy 12. So what I do is I buy a second set of springs. Let's see if I can get in there. I buy a second set of factory springs. I just cut them. So that's what those two are. So I bought another set of these out of a junkyard. I cut those down just to give it a little bit more. You know, when you're going through a ditch or you're running off-road, moving material on your own job site. So I don't change anything else on that. I do change the spacer. So I put a new spacer, new U-bolts, and then I buy those springs. I cut them down on the bandsaw and I put them in. And that way I can run the factory shocks. This truck, I'll probably put new shocks on it. And that makes a huge difference, right? So I think I get 4 inches, and I think that makes sense to everybody, because that's a lot right there. So I think normally it was about here. So I'm getting 3 or 4 inches up, but that does a bunch of stuff for me. It takes all those aerodynamic fenders are way up off the ground. I can get a 5-gallon bucket under that now. And then my fuel tank, my def tank, look at how high my step is. My def tank's up, my fuel tanks are up. Let's look at the fuel tank real quick on the other side. This camera's a little... So I can run the big 26 tanks. I don't have to swap the tanks out. I used to swap tanks. I don't want to do that anymore. So everything's up off the ground way higher. So that works really good for me. You know, again, this is a light frame truck, gonna have a light box on it. Okay, on the Chalmers suspension, I buy new Chalmers. I call them up in Canada. I talk to somebody, and I get into they call it a retro kit department. I talked to a really nice lady up there, and she walked me through a check sheet on it, what she wanted to know from me, size of the frame and some measurements. And I have bought this from them every time. For me personally, hang on, I'm gonna switch back. For me personally, I have enough used equipment in my life, and so when I'm building a truck like this, I try to just put everything new back on that I can. And in this situation, this Chalmers is the right move for me. So we took the axles out, took all the suspension, junked all of it, and they're going to send you brackets that weld onto these axles. So you're going to have to grind. It's a big project. I would tell you years ago I would do them in like 40 hours. I don't know. I don't think we're much more in this truck yet on it. So, but it's a big job. It's a job that, you know, if you're building the truck on the side, it works out great. Anyway, you get the axles out. We had some stands. We welded some metal together around here and put them, I don't even know where it's at. I was going to show you. It's pretty cool. John made up some stuff. And so he put them on stands so he could grind them up off the ground. We welded these brackets on. They give you really good measurements. So that's these right here. So these are welded on to the old axle. So these were welded on. So we welded these on. So these are the two pieces you have to put onto your axles. And then there's a third one. We welded this on, the middle mount. So it's some fabrication. If you're not a good welder, this is not the project for you. But if you're a good welder and you clean them up, then it's not that bad. So we did that. That was the only modification we did to the axles. Let me turn it, get it. You can see it did the same thing in the back. So everything's the same there. So again, there is some work on the axles to do. They give you good paperwork. You're not gonna have any trouble. They send you the kit. It's really great. It was designed to do this. It costs money, man. I can't tell you. I bought it in 2019 before the whole world ended, and it was what it was. I don't remember exactly what I paid. I don't personally, I don't like wrecking yard stuff because I don't know what's in the axles. And I knew that this truck only has 490,000 miles with a blown motor. So I knew what I had, but I did not like the gear ratio that was in it. So we pulled the rear ends. I sold those to another guy. And then I put new rear ends in, and I put lockers in. So it's going to be 40,000 pounds with lockers. I still have to wire the electric up for them. And then I went to a 410. Everybody's going to be different. I went to 410s and 24/5 tires. So I went real old school on the tires. So I got some new tires ready to go on. Again, to keep it up off the ground. That's my biggest concern. When I did the gear ratio, they got some good stuff on the internet. You can figure out what you need. So anyway, that's my project. It's a big project, but it makes for a great truck. I bought this truck for $7,000. So I'm super happy with that. So I've got money. I got money in the suspension and the rear ends, and I'm gonna have some money in the motor and a box. But I'm really happy where we are on this truck. So anyway, just want to give everybody a heads up. You can do it this way. You don't have to buy all the stuff out of the wrecking yard, and everything on this will be new for me. So I'm pretty happy. We had it sandblasted. We're gonna paint it next week. So in a lot of ways for me, almost everything will be new back there when I do some lines and stuff. All right, man. Peace out. Thanks for watching my video.